Hello, this is Melanie Dean here, and welcome to the Radiant Living podcast. Thank you so much for joining me again. I am going to be speaking today about manifestation, and I know I've spoken about this a few times, but I think there's so much to explore with it, and I think it's a continuous learning and growing to really bring it into our day-to-day life, into our day-to-day living, because the truth is that we're always manifesting, whether we're conscious of it or not. And so the more we can become conscious, the more we can make this our main focus, our main thoughts, the more we're in control, the more we are that co-creator of the life that we want to manifest. And when I say co-creator, the way I see that, feel that, interpret that is I am creating my own reality with source energy. And it's not that we take it in turns. First it's source energy, then it's me, then it's source energy, then it's me. It's the same thing. And so it's all happening in a think of it as in a horizontal time. So as humans, we always think of time as being linear, but it's like a download horizontal time. So for example, you have this download into your crown chakra, or you might have this thought that comes up that you maybe didn't have the day before. And that's a download. That's a download from that source energy. And that comes in a thought, an idea. And then it starts to become stronger, and we start to have feelings towards that thought, that desire. It starts to become a desire. We start adding intention to it and emotion to it. And then we start then desiring it more and more to the point where we want to create it and experience it as our reality. And so that is manifestation. First we have that desire. Number one, we have a desire. And we just have to be sure and certain that that desire is aligned. And it's aligned as in what we desire, which of course the chances are it will be, because that's why it's come to us. But we have to align in how we believe we can create it. Because what happens sometimes is that we have this desire, but the way we think to get there isn't a possibility for us. So even though we're aligned with the desire, we're not aligned with the action. We're not aligned with what it takes. And that's not to say when misaligned is a negative thing. It might be related to self-belief, self-worth, belief in the situation, belief in life, belief in our surroundings. So it's not, when we say we're misaligned, it's not because we don't like something or love something. It's that we're not fully embracing the possibility and the frequency. So we want to make sure we align with that desire and how we believe that we can create that desire, but also surrender the how. So I'll come on to that in a second. The second thing into manifestation is we match the frequency. And that's, like I mentioned in, I think, maybe even the first or second podcast, that is literally what manifestation is. Once we start vibrating at a frequency that is the same frequency of what it is that we desire, then it comes in. It has to enter because it's a match of frequencies. And then the third thing is we elevate and magnify this with gratitude. So we're having gratitude for where we're at, what we've already created, without being in a story of where we're at and what we have, but just having gratitude. Remember, it's not about the words that we use, it's about our feeling. So words are important because a lot of times words connect to a feeling. So words are important, but it's thinking that this isn't like we're not in conversation with another human when we're talking about connecting to source energy. It's an energy, it's a vibration, it's a frequency, it's all encompassing, it's within us, it's around us, it's everywhere. And so when we really give that a feeling of gratitude for what we have, where we're at in our lives, and again, not in an attached way, but just feeling wholly grateful, it's a huge magnifier and amplifier of feeling, which and obviously enables us to really manifest a lot quicker and a lot easier, with ease and grace. So I just want to mention 5 key points in manifestation that some people might have either misinterpreted or misunderstood, that I think are really, really, really important points that I've really been having lots of downloads about. So the first one to mention is surrender and trust isn't just doing nothing. So sometimes we feel, oh, I've got to surrender, I've got to trust. And the thought around that is that surrendering and trusting is sitting around doing nothing. And of course it's not. It is taking aligned action. But actually, it's not about the doing in this situation. It's about the being. So surrendering and trusting takes like a high level of prana, of energy within the system, because you are surrendering and trusting. You are holding the frequency and the vibration of what it is that you desire. So when we surrender and trust, we still have to hold the vision, the imagination around our desire. We still have to hold the feeling of having what we desire, the energy of what we desire, the frequency of what we desire, as though it already is. So even though you're surrendering and you're trusting, you're still using energy. You're not just doing nothing. You're holding the frequency and you're holding the energy, the vision, and that desire. Number 2, aligned action might not always be what you perceive to be the right, inverted commas, action. So I'll give you an example. So for me, I always wanted to live by the beach, always. And I used to do like bits of traveling. I went to LA a few times and I thought, oh, this is the beach. LA is great. This is definitely where I'm supposed to be. But it just wasn't really flowing. It was always sticky. It was easy, but it wasn't in flow. And so one year I just decided, you know what, I'm not going to LA this year. I'm not forcing it anymore. I just need to just chill and relax and just trust. And just like I said, hold that frequency, hold that vibration. So I did. That was beginning of 2019. And then a few months into that year, my friend invited me to go to Bali. And I knew that that Bali wasn't it. I knew Bali wasn't the place where I wanted to live either. But I still went. I trusted that although it wasn't really what my end desire, I trusted that it was going to be part of the journey. So it was still aligned action, me going to Bali, even though I knew I didn't want to live in Bali. Does that make sense? So the aligned action was saying yes to this trip. But I had this download that I just knew I was either going to meet somebody or there was going to be an opportunity that came my way that would take me into the direction. And lo and behold, the last weekend of my 2 months in Bali, I got invited to Australia for a conference with my business. And I just walked out onto the beach when I arrived, and it was at the Gold Coast, and I just fell in love. I fell in love with Australia, and I'd never thought about Australia before, about a place for me to be and to live, and I knew it was somewhere I could grow my business, but it just never even really thought of it in that way. And I walked out onto that beach, and I had my eyes were welling up, I had tears. I just felt so connected to the earth and to the place, and obviously it was just beautiful. And then lo and behold, here I am living here now in Australia, and absolutely love it. And I live right on the beach. So I manifested my beach home. But yeah, I took aligned action, but it wasn't necessarily it wasn't direct. It was an indirect, but still aligned action. So be mindful of that. Where are you maybe saying no to things because you think it's not aligned action? Some things are there to help you grow or help you get to the next level. In fact, it reminds me of a conversation I had earlier today with someone, and we were talking about astrology and about our star signs, and about how, you might read a star sign of a partner and it says, or of a potential partner, and it says that they don't match, they don't align with your star sign. But obviously there's more to star signs than just our sun sign and rising sign and moon sign anyway. But that could be a relationship that brings in so much more than, or so many other things, or it could be a relationship that takes you to on a different path, or on a different journey, or takes you to a new place, or to a new relationship, or to a new business. You just never know. So it is being open, and that's when we really want to work on that intuition and trust. And that's why I'm such a lover of self-psychology. And by the way, if any of this is if you're really enjoying any of the podcasts that I put out, a great way that you can support this podcast is by leaving a review, and also sharing this podcast on Instagram, or sharing with friends and family, because I just love getting these teachings out there about manifestation and energy. And I know more and more people are becoming so aware of this and don't necessarily know what it means or where to begin. And if there's any topics that you'd love for me to cover, or anyone that you'd love for me to interview, please let me know. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you do share on Instagram, you can tag me at Melanie J. Dean. And also there's a Radiant Living Instagram page as well, so you can head on to there. So yeah, if any of this is beneficial, please, it would be really helpful as well, really supportive of the channel if you were to leave a review. That would be just so amazing. So yeah, that could be your aligned action for the day. So just taking that aligned action, it might not be what you imagine it to be, but yeah, we'd really need to start considering self-psychology, learning, being intuitive, and really connecting with who we are and why we, who we are and what we do and how we operate as a human being on this planet. Because once you really start to get to know yourself on a deeper level, that's when you can really discern what is intuition and what is the ego mind that's just trying to take you off course. What is the intuition, the downloads that are taking you on that path of destiny, versus what's those voices that are just taking you on that path of fate and life just keeps happening to me. And that's what we really want to be really mindful of and self-aware of, whether, I know a lot of people listen to this channel are sole entrepreneurs. It's great to really start to learn this, but also even whether you're learning it for relationships and other work commitments, it's such a good thing to know and understand, is learning about ourselves. So the third thing I wanted to mention is we must really hold that energy so we can stay true to what it is that we desire. It's very, very easy to be blown off the course of what we desire, because people have opinions and they have their belief systems, and they love sharing their belief systems with us. Oh, you can't do that. That's so hard, Mel, that'll never happen. Or, it might even be really subtle. So we have to be really, really aware. For me recently, I've been looking to move to a new home, and where I live, it's it's a very popular place, and you could have many people viewing one property, and when I'd leave these viewings, I would hear people go, "Oh, it's so hard, isn't it? It's just so hard," and I just refused to listen to that. I'd walk away from a viewing and I would rewrite that story that they were sort of happy to share with everybody. And, obviously, of course, it was really easy for me. I found one straight away, and yeah, I got the one that I wanted, and it was perfect. And I totally manifested that situation. So really be mindful that you're staying true to what it is that you desire, and that you aren't trying to be knocked off course by other people and their stories and their patterns and their paradigms. But of course, be mindful that you're not taking yourself out of the game with your stories and your paradigms too. So stay true to what you desire. If you have this big desire and big goal, there might be steps towards that, because we have to, we do have to elevate ourselves to the point we can match that frequency. But it's not to say that we're not very good at manifesting. It's just to say that we're growing to that frequency. We're growing to that point of energy where we can attract what we desire. So it's not to say that you can't have in-between desires. I think that's really great. I think that's really, really important. But just remember, always remember this, every paradigm is available. Which one do you want to play by? Every story, every option is available. Which one do you want to play by? Do you want to play by the one that sounds easy and simple and happens with ease and grace, or the one that's challenging and difficult? So be mindful. Number 4 is believe in you and your own magic. You are magical, you are powerful, and it's so easy, like I said, with outside, with social media, with TV, with news, with our own inner thoughts, to forget that we are connected, to forget that we have these beautiful, obviously different for different people, but some of us have these beautiful guardian angels around us supporting us. And I only say some of us because some of us don't resonate with that. Some of us resonate maybe with fairies or with Palladians or intergalactic dimensional creatures, whatever it is that you resonate with. But we all have so much support and guidance. And that's because we're so magical. And it's so important to have that around us to remind ourselves. But I want you to remind that you have so much support. You have so much magic within. You are connected to this bigger source energy that is there to serve every one of us. And so connect into the energy, connect into your own magic. And then hang on, what number am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is just a reminder that you are the creator. Remember, you're creating your destiny. You're co-creating with source energy. But remember what I said at the beginning, that's a oneness. That's not you're over here and I'm over there. We'll meet on Zoom for a meeting. This is connection. This is connected. So yes, we do our meditation in the morning. Yes, we take that time, maybe before a yoga class or after yoga class, to connect to source energy. But I'm telling you that energy is there all the time. And you are creating all the time with the energy. So be mindful of that. Be mindful of your power. Be mindful that you are that co-creator. And relax. And if you're not sure what your desires are, or you're not sure if you're on the right path, ask. Ask for help, ask for guidance, ask for a sign. It could be something little. You might want to ask for, I don't know, like my sign is a particular bird that I love. And when I have that sign, I know, yeah, I'm totally on the right path. And it's really powerful when it comes through, like really randomly. So one of my signs is the kingfisher, a bird, the kingfisher. And I was getting all ready to come to Australia, but there's that little part of you that like, oh my gosh, am I doing the right thing? There was so much unknown for me coming here. I didn't really know. I kind of had a place to stay, but it wasn't all sorted. It was all a little bit like, oh, what's going to happen? And then, yeah, I was just remember sat with my parents, and my dad took out his credit card to pay for something online, and it had a kingfisher on his credit card. I didn't realize, I never knew that. And then there was a quiz program on that later that day, and the answer was names. It was something like name 5 birds who, I don't know, something. And my mum said kingfisher. And I was like, wow, it was within the space of 5 hours, both my parents had alluded to the word and the being of a kingfisher. And I was just laughing. And like, what are you laughing at? And I obviously had to tell them. But it's just powerful. So, ask for those signs. Ask. Asking it is given, as they say. And I'm going to be releasing more meditations about manifestation as well. So if you would like more of these meditations directly into your inbox, pop to my website. It's melaniejdeen.com. And when you go on there, you can click to opt in and get a meditation. When you go on, it might say for a journal, but within the next few days, you will get a meditation. So yeah, pop on now, and then obviously it'll come within the next few days. And yeah, there'll be more of that to come as well. So I'm really working on some exciting things with creating some great tools for manifesting and to raise that consciousness and to keep that consciousness open and clear. So those are those 5 key elements that I really wanted to touch on this week. And then just as an extra bonus, I just thought I'd put in this. What do you do when it's just not working? Because like sometimes, you feel like this isn't working. Oh my goodness, it's not working. And obviously then we start affirming that. So what do we do when it feels like it's not working? And I'm just going to give you 5 quick little tools, like really quick and nothing revelationary in terms of you might think, yeah, I kind of knew that, but I'm just going to give you a little extra to it all. So the first thing is journal. And you're like, yeah, I've heard of that. I have heard that's a good idea. Okay, this is what I do, and I think it's really, really great. When I journal now, I journal on my laptop because I can type quicker than I can write. And I literally type and journal like a stream of thoughts and any sort of negativity, any like arguments that's going on in my mind. I'm journaling it on like a Word document, and I'm going really, really, and I can type quick. And then as I'm journaling all that, it's almost like you're purging and clearing out the rubbish, the good stuff starts to come up. And you start sort of realizing what you're writing and thinking, well, that's not true actually, Mel. And that's not true either. And you can really then start to purge out the non-serving stuff and it's like, when you have to run a water tap after you've had some plumbing and it's a bit mucky to begin with, and then it starts to run clear. And that's the same with that journaling. And interestingly enough, when I actually create content for social media and I want to do like a really thoughtful post, I actually journal that in a notebook because that is more sort of thought and downloading, whereas that journaling quick I do on a laptop. Meditation, of course, connect to that energy. See if you can quieten the mind, and remember that's with you all the time. Before you go in a meeting, while you're doing the washing up, when you're looking after the children, ask. It's meditation and it's prayer. I'm putting that all as one, meditation and prayer. Number 3 is breathe, conscious breathing. Really big can't speak. Big breaths in, big breaths out. You can hold the breath at the top of the inhale and then exhale. You can count the breaths as well. Count in for 4, hold for 4, release for 4, and you can even hold out for 4 before doing it again. But really taking conscious breaths, especially when you're outside in that fresh air. Breathing is powerful. We really take it for granted. It's one of the most powerful tools we have. You can change the energy of a whole room and a whole conversation purely by connecting to breath and taking conscious breath. Number 4 is move. Move the body, move that stagnant energy, move the hips, move the legs, move the arms, move the head, move the neck, move the joints, just like move. Put on music, dance, it can be slow, it can be fast, it doesn't even matter. What matters is you matter. What makes you feel good? What makes you want to get out off your seat and move your body? It can be melancholy, it can be a rave, it can be whatever you want. Just get the energy moving through your body, or go for a big long walk, get your 10,000 steps in and go for that walk. And then the last thing I would say is, if you're feeling like, oh, it's not working, is just talking it into reality. Start talking as though it is happening. Start talking as though it already has happened. Start talking. Talk to yourself about it. Talk to other people about it. You can do that for fun with your friends. I've definitely done this in the past with my friends, and we just basically say, okay, it's 5 years from now, tell me about your day. Or it's a year from now, tell me about your day. 3 months from now, tell me about your day. So, just a really, really, really great tools, basically. So that is everything that I want to share with you on this podcast. Like I said, if you want to support this podcast, please leave a review. Please share with anyone you think might benefit from hearing these insights and these tools. And I would love to hear from you. I know the numbers of how many people listen to this podcast, but I don't know who you are. And so I would love to know if you're listening. Of course, drop me a message. You can tag me on Instagram, like I mentioned, Melanie J. Dean, and go to the website, melaniejdean.com, for the meditation direct into your inbox as well. Thank you so much for listening, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Speaking next week.